Hey there, everyone. It's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership. And today we are on day 27. We're nearly there. We're nearly at the end of the month. Day 27 of Communication Fest, which is hints and tips to help you improve the impact that you have in your business through communication, whether that be for you, your teams, or both. It doesn't matter. You can all join in. And today on day 27, we are talking about feeling like an imposter. And you might think, what's that got to do with communication? But it has everything to do with communication, because the words and the body language and all those things that come out of ourselves when we're communicating with people comes from how we feel. Yeah, because of how we think, how we feel, it will then ooze out of us like slime or like a bright light, depending on how we're actually feeling. And we're talking about here about, well, when I feel like an imposter, what's going to come out the other end and what's the impact of that. And so today, if you're listening live, then do say hello. We're here. Send me a little message. And if you're listening on replay, put hashtag replay and I will make sure that I get back to your message and respond to you. And so the reason why we're doing this is because communication is massively important for you to have more impact and influence and grow your business, grow your career, grow the impact that you have. And so that's what we're doing. So feeling like an imposter, you know the thing, the elephant in the room that nobody really wants to talk about and nobody wants to admit or to have be seen. That's why it's like, I feel like an imposter, is that I don't feel like I'm good enough, or I feel like, why am I in this role? Why, how did I get here? And I have no right to be here. Now, if that doesn't apply to you, well done you, and that's great. Maybe you might be thinking, I shouldn't listen to this then. But actually, if you've got a team in your business, I guarantee you that somebody feels like this. And if somebody feels like this in your team, then it's good for you to know how to deal with it or how they might be feeling so that you can help them to grow their confidence. Because feeling like an imposter, if you feel like you shouldn't be there and you've got no right to be there and you're not as good as everybody else, then that's going to mean that your confidence goes down when you're speaking about what you stand for, what you believe in, and what's right for the business or for them, or when you want to actually negotiate or communicate with somebody or advise anybody, selling, all of those things. If you don't feel confident, you feel like an imposter, then nobody's going to listen because you're just not good enough, are you? And many people tell me, oh, that's how I'm feeling at the moment. And I think everybody's gone through it really at one point or another. So I'm absolutely fascinated. Why do we do this to ourselves, for a start? Because it's really weird. I don't know about you, but it's like I look at other people and I think, oh, they're amazing. And it's very easy for us all to see the greatness in other people. And we look at them and think, oh, look, they're amazing at speaking up. They're amazing at negotiating. Oh, they're always there at the front asking questions. It's like when you were a kid at school, there was always somebody put the hand up. And maybe you didn't feel that way. Although it's probably me putting my hand up, actually. But anyway, but it's interesting how we look upon others and we look for the good and we think, wow, they're so good. And I couldn't, and this is what I hear all the time, I can never be that good. I could never do it like that. Oh, that's just not me. And then we end up in these positions where we tell ourselves a story about what we could and couldn't do. And then from that comes this imposter feeling of, oh, well, I'm not good enough and I could never do that. So when you're in the position, you feel like you're in the wrong position because, well, if you don't believe that you could do it, then you're going to think you're in the wrong position. Yeah. So it's very interesting that we look differently upon ourselves than we do on others. And that's the bit I want us to look at, really, because when we look negatively upon ourselves and we feel like an imposter, as I said, our communication is going to be less positive, less confident. We might not even say I don't know about you, but we may not even say what we want to say. We won't challenge. We don't ask for what we might want, be it a pay rise or be it that we want somebody to do something for us. It depends what position you're in, obviously. But probably the outcome is that we don't get what we want. We don't ask for what we want. And when we do ask, we don't ask confidently, which means we don't get it anyway. And so our communication is less powerful and less confident and therefore less compelling to people, so we don't get what we want in the outcome. It's not as impactful as we would like it to be. Make sense? Yeah. So I want us to look at this because it's really is one thing that we can do that can really make a big difference. And that is this thing about, well, hang on. And I don't mean to sound horrible, but it's not all about you. And I want you to think about this. And I don't mean this nastily, and I don't mean this as if you're a narcissist that you think it's all about you. But what I mean is that we spend a lot of time. Hey, EJ, hi. Good morning to you too. Am I not smiling enough, or am I smiling? Am I really serious today? I'm normally smiling. Here we go. I'll smile a bit. Okay. So where was I? Often people think I'm being looked at, I'm being judged, and people feel very judged, and they worry about what people think of them. And this actually fuels this imposter syndrome because we feel like I'm being judged, and therefore I'm going to judge myself. And if I look at myself, oh, I'm going to pick at all the negatives and think everybody's looking at all these negatives. Yeah. Okay. However, the interesting thing is that in reality, nobody's looking. They're not looking at you. It's not all about you because it feels like it's all about them. So they're thinking somebody's probably judging me, and you're thinking, oh, somebody's judging me. But actually, what we're mainly really good at is judging ourselves. So if they're judging themselves and you're judging yourselves, then really nobody's really looking at anybody else. So we need to give ourselves a bit of a break, really. Yeah. I don't know what you think about that. If you agree, let me know. If you don't agree, let me know too. So we need to give ourselves a bit of a break because when we think people are watching us, the reality is they're so busy watching themselves and worried about whether they've got pouts or whether they've got, whether they look good or whether they're saying the right thing. They couldn't care less about what you're saying. Okay, that's one thing. So we can give ourselves this break. We can let ourselves off because really, actually, they're not scrutinizing you as much as you think you are. And they're not scrutinizing you as much as you're scrutinizing yourself. So give yourself a break, first of all. Stop looking at yourself. Stop worrying about that. And then I want you to do something else. I want you to think about this differently in that, if somebody ever says to you, would you mind helping me? It's much easier if somebody wants you to help them. You'd do anything for somebody, wouldn't you? Oh, yeah, of course. And then you just go ahead and do it because they ask you to do it and they ask you to help. Yeah? Okay. So if we would turn this around and say, how is what I need to say going to help that person? How is what I want to do or say going to help other people, maybe in the short term or the long term? Okay, so we're going to relate this to how you feel and how you respond when somebody comes and asks you for help or asks you for a favor. Yeah, because our brain goes straight into, of course, mode and just doing it when we are asked for a favor. We stop thinking about ourselves. We stop worrying. We run into the burning room and we save the baby, even though we don't necessarily think we're a firefighter. We do it because we want to serve. Okay, so I want you to do exactly the same here. Is how am I serving? What benefit can I be giving to this person in the way I'm speaking? How is it going to help them? To if I say something or do something. Okay, so if we change the perspective, change the way we're looking through our glasses to say, actually, this can help somebody. I can serve. Yeah, that will change the focus from ourselves, where we're judging ourselves, onto the other person. How is that person going to benefit? How can I help that person? How can I make that person's life easier? Yeah. And if we think about what we do help people, we do serve. So we change that to a serving state of mind. It will release you from that pressure of having to be the best or having to be anything, really, because it's not about you. It's about them because they're in need. Okay. The next question then is the question of what does the other person need from me? And when you do that, again, that's going to put you into serving. So focusing on their need and serving that, or what does the business need, not what do I need or judging me, you're going to let yourself go. Now, lastly, this is super important. I don't know about you, but I'm fairly passionate about what I believe in. And so let's just take your biggest passion of what it is, whether you're in accounting or whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a manufacturer, whatever you are. What do you believe? And just ask yourself this question. EJ, if you're on there, that's great. Ask yourself this one. Ask yourself this question. In what you do, what do you believe is the most important thing of all? Okay. So I believe that in leadership, it's not about what you know, it's about how you behave. It's about how you show up in the room that has the impact on other people. Okay. So if I believe that and I take it to the level of what do I believe, rather than the detail of like, let's improve your communication skills or let's improve what you say to people, I tell you what I believe and I tell you why I believe it. And I believe that because the minute you start implementing and changing your behaviors, you have to change your thinking, you have to change your behaviors. When you do that, it's much easier to change how you show up because you've changed the way your brain is working, you changed what you believe in. Then you can then it all follows afterwards. Okay, so I don't believe in just turning up to a leadership training program and writing loads of notes and going back and putting it in your drawer and doing nothing. I believe that we should actively implement. Okay, which is why I do things the way I do. So what do you believe? What is your passion about the thing that you do? Okay. And when you have that and you know why that's important, then if you start talking in this way about what you believe is right, what you believe is pure, what do you believe is important in the subject that you're in, then again, we've taken off the pressure off of you, whether you're a good person, whether you are good enough, but we're talking about the principle. And when we talk about the principle, then the pressure's off of you as a person. Make sense? Good. So let's stop looking at ourselves. Let's stop thinking about, am I good enough? Or even asking that question, am I good enough or am I not? And turn the focus round onto that person. How can I serve that person? What's going to help that person? How can I deliver to them to help them? And what's important about what we're talking about. So we're moving ourselves up. We're chunking up to a much more purpose-driven discussion, which takes it all the way from whether or not you are good enough, whether or not you are going to be judged, because we're talking about purpose, not person. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes you think about a little bit about whether or not really you even need to be worried about whether you're good enough, because you are, and it really is irrelevant to other people because they're not looking out to catch you out. They're looking more worried about whether they're going to be caught out. So if everybody stops worrying and stops judging themselves, then there'll be nobody left to judge. We just need to get on with it. Okay, so as I said to you before, this is day 27 of Communication Fest. So day 27, we've got 3 more days left. And then we're going to be moving on to another really important subject, but I'm not going to tell you about what that is yet. If you found it useful and you want some help in delivering this to your team, or whether you feel that you would like some help in implementing this in your business for yourself and or your team, then do message me. I've also I'll do it again just in case. Here is a link to my calendar. If you would like to have a one-to-one conversation with me about how you can implement this in your business, then please do book in a session and pop in there what you would like to work on, what's your biggest thing that holds you back in terms of your communication and your impact, and we can then create a game plan for you and see how we can help. We have our 12-week confident communication program coming up very soon. And you'd be very welcome to find out more about that as well. So DM me if you would like to find out more about that. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for your time. And we will see you tomorrow for the 28th day of Communication Fest. You take care, everyone. And I will speak to you tomorrow. Take care.